course. Give us your tweets. At LOL Esports is the place. Hashtag UOLWin or double M win if you believe in the power of the monkeys.
The Mysterious Monkeys, definitely not looking good for them right now. They lost to Vitality already this week. They need as many wins as possible. They want to try and catch up into that safe spot. Whereas Unicorns of Love, they want to join HDK at the top of the group. So must need wins here for both sides.
Must need indeed. We'll find out who reigns supreme between the Unicorns and the Mysterious Monkeys as we hit the rift for game number 1. Well, I think I know where the fan vote is going to go, Vedius. With the Unicorns and the Love Hurts crew, it usually is very one-sided.
Typically. Saw someone there with the body pillow, and I'm pretty sure I stole that earlier, so I don't know how they got their hands on it.
Apparently it's been passed around, Vedius.
It does seem that way.
All right, Unicorn's going for the 5-man invade, finding out Amazing, throws the sapling, forced the flash early on. That's not how you want to begin a game.
A lot of respect being shown from Amazing. Realizes, you know what, if that Braum Q hits me, I could die. So instead, I'm just going to flash away. I refuse to be chopped down this early on into the game.
His bark was clearly worse than his bite.
Oh, very
level
good.
1.
Very good, Pyro.
I'm glad you like that. I've been working on my old witticisms, Vedius.
But let's talk about the early game, right? Because from the side of Mysterious Monkeys, there's not a huge around it. Okay, they actually have a few options, because you have a Renekton, and you also have a lot of playmaking potential down in the bottom lane. The problem is, typically in this Cho'Gath versus Renekton matchup, what you'll see is the Cho'Gath, he'll take a lot of points in his E, he'll look to just push and push and push and push. And the thing about Renekton is he wants to be super aggressive in laning phase. He wants to be in your face, he wants to be trading, and normally Renekton wins because when he goes in, he stuns you, hits you with a Q, he dashes back out, and he's fine. He's safe. He's going to win out on that trade. But Cho'Gath gets a lot of sustain from his passive. He has a lot of wave clear, and every time that Renekton jumps in, the ability of the Cho'Gath to chase is actually very strong. So Cho'Gath is one of those few champions that can actually go very even, or at the very least hold their own against a Renekton, which means that some early gank assistance from Amazing would be very valuable to get this Renekton snowballing in the early game.
I was about to go in on that because it seemed like the Monkeys' game plan for a long time had been trying to snowball off Kikis, and this is a team composition that can fight very well, but do they still want to put their attention up there, up top early on? I guess we have to track Amazing and find out.
Yeah, and Amazing's early gank pressure will be very important, but we've also got to look at Xerxes, because when we talk about these early junglers, he is an individual that has not had the strongest of performances. All eyes for a very long time have been on Exile, but when you look at Xerxes, his goal difference at 15 is often negative. His contribution during the early game is not that strong. And when they played up against Fnatic, he was a big part as to why they ended up losing that series, trying to be over-aggressive, trying to make all these extremely over-eager plays that ended up in disaster and resulted in Fnatic taking that overall series. So I have big question marks around Xerxes and what his goals are in the early game and whether or not he wants to try and focus back to a more conventional style, which is scaling towards those late game team finals.
Yeah, we certainly have to watch him, and those numbers definitely didn't look like the kind that netted him that Rookie of the Split award in the last split. Of course, his entry into the LCS was certainly an impactful one, coming from the Turkish Champions League and helping lead his team to victory there, but he's clearly been falling off as of late. One thing we definitely want to check in on, though, this game is going to be the mid lane, of course, because Exile, he locks this into the Orianna. It's a fairly safe pick for Cosq, especially by his standards, but Exile...
Did he just dab?
Yeah, he did. He's got style, man.
Oh, I never knew that he dabbed.
Locks talent in.
Very old school. He should really update to a fidget spinner or something. Anyway, talking a little bit...
Have you been on the internet too much lately?
Maybe. So, we want to see early ganks up top lane. Amazing. Level 3, now poised and ready to try and shut down Chachi.
All right, and they get the stun off, and in goes the Twisted Advance. Kikis is going to dice his way out. Sapling's on a little bit late. Do they have the damage to follow through? Chachi's still got a flash. He's not going to need it either. He gets out alive.
Wow, really good two-man knock up there from Chachi. Completely dissuades Amazing and Kikis from the continued followed up, but slight pressure advantage going in favor of Kikis. This will get the teleport out from Chachi too. So now, Mysterious Monkeys, they have this TP advantage, level 6. Then they look to try and make a play happen. Amazing, he's still hanging around them.
Yeah, he hadn't actually gone back yet. Chachi was quick on the teleport finger. He is getting pushed in for the time being, but this is what's going to happen with that Renekton. As you explained, it's maybe not a great matchup because of the sustain, but Renekton's still able to push, and he has that farm advantage. But there's always a timer And as you know, the late game Cho'Gath is going to be pretty deadly. So if Unicorns get a longer game, this could be a good one for them.
The thing you always have to remember about the Unicorns is they are still that team that they usually have a slow early game. Pretty casual, pretty relaxed, and then around the 20-minute mark is where they really kick the action off. But I'm keeping my eyes once again on the bottom lane. I feel like both those guys are looking for a bit of trading early on.
Yeah. Well, Yuki and Dreams, you know, they drafted the Zyricon early on. It's clearly comfortable for them. You pointed out that Yuki had been a point of success for the Mysterious Monkeys when he was able to kind of just unload damage in fights. You can see that Amazing, even though he's down here clearing camps, he's emphasized being able to get places quick with the Moby Boots early on. So he could be making a move down there soon, too.
Good spot there, Pyra. Typically, when you go for early Moby Boots, that does say, I want to gank a lot. It gives you a lot of mobility throughout your jungle, gives you a lot of freedom, and it's really good if you could shut down this talent in the early game. We haven't talked much about it, largely because Fisher and I talked a huge amount about it in the last series, but typically what you want from a talent is an early snowball. Lethality is all about the name of the game. The thing about Lethality is it's great when the targets have low amount of armor, because it's flat armor penetration. Once they start stacking it up, it gets a little bit difficult as we see a bit more trading in the bottom lane.
Grand entrance and a battle dance out of Dreams. They do trade well. Samix is the one who takes a bit of damage. Hylissang stepping in front to help him heal up there. That last shot on this Jhin. Samix is still staying relatively healthy, and he's actually been able to out-farm his opposite number for the most part. Sitting on those boots start, too. That's something we didn't really talk about either. He's emphasized mobility himself.
Yeah. Largely to just get that additional bit of sustain. It helps with your trading pattern, too. We have seen some Doran's Ring starts from some Jins over in North America to help with the bouncing grenades because of its great ability power ratio. Outside of laning phase, it's not that valuable, but that's not what we're seeing today. Likely he's going to rush some early Moby Boots, but right now he's getting engaged once again.
Yeah, but Hylissang is there to get the block on. So Dreams and Yuki continuing to try and trade it out. It's even on the farm game. Down towards the bottom, we've yet to see the junglers make an appearance. But we're only 6.5 minutes in. No need to rush this one.
Yep, no need to rush indeed. I'd love to see Amazing try and make a repeat appearance up top as the ulti gets used.
Pickus, he's got the dominance on. He is the big animal right now. Chachi's throwing down the Rupture just to make sure he doesn't get followed through too deep onto. Still both flashes for both top laners with the teleports both down as well. But Amazing, he's busy clearing out the wave. Okay. The wards, I should say.
So I just want to take this opportunity very quickly. We've got to look at the builds. Because I want to look at Cosq and see he's gone for a Blasting Wand along with an Amp Tone. Now in my head, this is kind of like he's edging towards a Rylai's. Now, this is a bit of a gamble, because the thing about Talon is he snowballs really well, and once he's got a few levels under his belt with some early lethality, oh, he hits hard. So, solo queue players at home, I highly recommend rushing some armor. Either go for the armor boots or just get a very early Seeker's Arm Guard. Really good tool for mitigating that early laning power that Talon can have once he gets a few levels under his belt. But by going for the Rylai's, if that is the build path that he decides to go for, it will definitely give him a lot of health and a little bit more utility to prevent Exile from having that level of burst.
That was not the most effective Ignite, Hylissang.
To stop their backs.
He did stop their backs.
This will allow Samix to get back to lane sooner. They will be able to get onto the tower faster. This is a big tempo advantage play that UOL is trying to make right now.
Yeah, Dreams, he's going to be body blocking here just to make sure Hylissang can't interrupt Yuki any further, but he takes a lot of damage for it. And in the end, here we go. So Samix will be making it back to lane. He's got himself a shiny new set of shoes with those boots, as well as the BF sword. So this should definitely help him out, try and get an edge over Yuki. But Yuki's also got a BF, so that's at least matched on damage for now.
But he will get back to lane a little bit later, so this will continue the early advantage that Samix has been able to build up for himself. The great thing about Jhin is usually early on in laning phase, he's still pretty strong. But now you're starting to see this trait actually go in the favor of Chachi, getting a lot of early armor to deal with the Renekton. Now Exile.
Shockwave pulls in Exile. He's going to instantly top his ult on and look over to Cosq. Parkour's over, but Dreams is there to intercept. Oh, predicts it with the knock-up. And is Rakan going to finish it for first blood? I think so.
Great roam there from Dreams. Right place, right time. They get the kill down onto Exile. And that'll be first blood going in favor of Mysterious Monkeys.
And this is the kind of proactivity we wanted to see out of the Monkeys against Vitality, but now they're bringing it up against the Unicorns. I want to see how this continues here. 9 minutes in the game. They're making moves. Xerxes and Chachi are up top. They get a bop on to the Croc. Chachi's moving out, barrels on, and that's it.
Bit of a pressure play there from the Unicorns of Love. They see the gank happen mid, and they want to try and make something happen somewhere else on the map. Let's have a look back at how this happens here in this replay. So, Mysterious Monkeys, they spot out Exile trying to clear out the ward. He doesn't flash away from the ultimate. A little greedy from Exile, but I love the pathing that he takes, thinking that he's safe, utilizing the walls and mobility. but he just doesn't expect Dreams to come out of nowhere. And if you think back, if Hylissang had never delayed the recalls of Hylissang, of Dreams rather,
he delayed his own back too.
He never would have been in that situation. So it's all Hylissang's fault.
Is that what you're saying?
Say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can always blame the support.
But let's go back to these mid laners, right? We got to talk about it because now Exile is behind. It's a really big deal for Talon to not be behind in the early matchup, and the fact that KOZQ has been able to get what looks like to be an early Rod of Ages into this matchup, very similar to what we saw from Caps when he played up against Talon, will be very advantageous for him. But let's just talk a little bit more about the mid laners as well, because sure, I wanted to see a little bit more from Xerxes. I questioned what kind of Xerxes was going to set up in the day. Would he be early game focus or would he be team fight? But Exile has received a lot of flack, and so has KOZQ. And that's because these two statistically are the worst performing mid laners in our league. You can see 10th, 8th, sitting very low down on the ladder of other mid laners. A lot of their deficits come from early laning phase, but also just their ability to get kills and how regularly they die in the game.
I feel like that honestly reflects worse on Exile, right? Because he's the one with the more tenure in the European LCS. KOZQ came in after a long time in Challenger, but didn't get the same level of experience. Maybe that'll change. Here we go. They go in all on top of Exile. Insta-flash away. The Thorns are out, but Exile is already back under tower. Monkeys tried for the collapse, but couldn't find it.
Coordination was a little bit off there. 2 flashes used from the mysterious Monkeys, but really good setup there from, or really good escape rather, from Exile. And they want to try and shut him down, try and prevent this Talon from getting into that snowball state. Mysterious Monkeys being extremely proactive in doing that so far, and it will allow KOZQ to healthily transition into his itemization later on.
Yeah, speaking of itemization, you talked about the possible Rylai's. Of course, it looked like he changed it up or had a different plan in mind because he's working his way toward a Rod of Ages instead. So not so much on the armor, but at least he's going to have some sustain there.
Yeah, personally, I'm not a massive fan of it, but this was something that we saw Caps do as well. It does give you a lot of health. Will attribute to more of a scaling sort of Orianna build, but I think the big thing is that you lose the cooldown reduction that you typically get from the Morello Momicon, which is extremely important on a champion like Orianna because she is so teamfight centric that being able to spam those skills as often as you can, give shields, move your ball around is super, super important. So I wonder if he will build towards the Morellos a little bit later on, but he needs to get that Zhonya's completed ASAP to mitigate a lot of the burst power that Talon does have.
Especially considering the Dustblade of Drakthar has been completed on Exile's side, and we could start seeing things shift in their favor. For the time being, the Monkeys are the ones that do control this gold lead. It's been an extended laning phase because nobody's made a big swap or a big push.
Yep.
I want to see if that ends up changing here. Now, Yuki's going to be joined by Dreams, but he's trying to take the express path, and Hylissang cuts him off.
Remember that it's not the end of the world for the Unicorns of Love to scale. Jhin scales pretty well based on the build path that he decided to go for. Rush of the Infinity Edge into the Rapid Fire Cannon. Very similar to what we see over in North America. And Chachi, he's on Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath scales well. He scales with health. He does a lot of damage later on, especially to any target that he can get onto, really, because of the amount of true damage that he, in fact, does do. And this could be an issue for Mysterious Monkeys because Renekton isn't ahead. Yuki and Dreams weren't able to snowball any kind of bot lane lead. And we'll have to see, because right now, an extending laning phase isn't that bad from the Unicorns of Love.
No. Oh, with Dreams. Uh-oh, he ran right into the gank squad of the Unicorns of Love. The rake comes out, and Hylissang throws on the Winter's Bite. That's the finishing blow, as he's able to pick up 1 kill for himself, and now they are proxying behind this wave. Xerxes Exile stopping anything from happening by way of defense. KOZQ will get some free hits on the mid tower while the Talon is away, but he's back soon enough. And this is where we'll start to see things open up for the Unicorns.
And you have to praise the Unicorns. They had really good vision around the bottom half of the Mysterious Monkeys jungle. Exile now going into KOZQ.
Oh boy, Twilight Assault, and he throws the rake back. KOZQ down to half his health. He has his barrier, already used it. In comes Xerxes, shockwave on himself, but it's gonna be the Sombrero, and Exile picks up the kill. Meanwhile, Samix has to flash away. twirling his gun with style, but can he get away? It looks like it. Hylissang is there for the defense. Yuki coming out, just able to clear some wards, and that's it.
This is why I like to see early armor on those mid lane champions against Talon. He has a lot of burst, especially once he completes that Duskblade. He doesn't need, he scales extremely well with items, but those levels contribute so much in terms of the base damage that he gets as well. When you have no armor, you just get popped off. And you can see he's not even level 11 yet. He doesn't have the second point in his ulti, but the bleed is what people really underestimate in terms of the amount of damage output. When you combine that with the slow that he gets on the Rake, on the Duskblade, Ignite 2, and when you're in melee range, you get a massive crit on your Q. So much damage available, and you don't have any armor to support it.
Exile, he wants to get this ball rolling downhill. Really got the cooldown off the passive on Duskblade. see if he wants to go down bot, but nobody's taken, so it means Hylissang and Samix are going to be able to free hit this one away, and that should be first brick for the Unicorns, opening up this gold game for them. If they can turn this into a dragon as well, they could really be well on their way to some big plays. Now Kikis moves in on to visit Chachi back up top-wise. Chachi, though, he's been able to survive this laning phase. He has a gold lead built up for himself, and now Exile, he's stuck under tower with Twilight Assault. He has to make his escape. That's going to open up the chance for the Mysterious Monkeys to get themselves a tower. So they're back in the gold game as well.
Like the move from Mysterious Monkeys. They realize that their bottom lane tower has gone. They cannot defend it after losing Dreams and all the vision that they lost. They felt like they needed to make some kind of answer. And the one thing about Talon is he has very little wave clear. So they just grouped up mid, take the tower. This will open up the map a little bit more, give some more freedom over to the Mysterious Monkeys, but they're still in a gold deficit, and Unicorns are in a great spot because their bottom lane is scaling nicely, their top lane is scaling nicely, already with a completed Righteous Glory, which I absolutely love, because one of the big criticisms I had of Xerxes was that he didn't buy Righteous Glory enough. So his top laners decided to do it instead, and Exile's off to a great start, given that he's 1-1-1, and he's already got a buttload of lethality.
There we go. So the carries are starting to do exactly what they need to. And Kikis, he keeps trying to make it happen, but you just can't deal with the Cho. He's getting bigger and bigger as the time goes on, and I feel like Vedius, what can the Monkeys do right now other than just try to force some crazy fights?
Well, you nailed it, Pyra. That's what they got to do. They got to force some crazy fights.
Cool.
I think right now, they're trying to make a crazy fight happen top.
Oh, slash dash. There we go. Dreams is in. He gets the knockup. Chachi, though, he's sending out the spikes.
They can't kill him.
They just can't do it. He's too big. League of Tanks. This is how it goes.
But these kind of plays needed to be happening at like level 7, level 8, where Renekton had enough early power to be able to kill the Cho'Gath. Now, he's got too many levels into his abilities where his CC is extremely strong. He's got a lot of health under his belt, but now we have seen Amazing get caught.
Oh, no. He flashes out, throws the Nature's Grasp. Coscu is there as well, but there was no follow-up damage, unfortunately. So Amazing has to burn a key summoner as well as his ultimate.
And now their eyes are on the dragon. Unicorns of Love already grouping up, getting some deep vision down. Maybe they just want to force a fight, classic Unicorn style.
Why not if you can get away with it? So, Double Charm is on, but there's no follow-up damage. There's a Shockwave on to 2. Hylissang, he's taking up the entirety of it, and Dreams will be able to take him down. But meanwhile, the curtains have been opened, and Exile is going to be making his grand entrance through, hopping and skipping and throwing those blades out. Roots down. Chachi, they get the hop over. It doesn't matter. A double kill for Exile.
And Unicorns of Love, when they have the choice between taking an objective and forcing a fight, naturally, they choose to go for the fight. They find a successful one, they get themselves 2 kills, and they walk away the victors.
And this is why people love the Unicorns of Love, Vedius. Who needs objectives when you can just get them once you've won the battle?
Kill him, Pyra.
That's the best objective.
Get the gold through kills. 4-2 now is the kill score, 2,000 gold lead, and now they get the objective.
Exactly.
You know, it's a safe, secure, Pyra. Reliable strategy, group up mid, make the fights happen. And so far things going splendid for Unicorns of Love, as we do see how the fight happens. So Mysterious Monkeys, they just want to push out mid. They're expecting Unicorns to go for the dragon. Oh, they don't. Instead, they try to force a fight. As 3 members, Gragas isn't even here yet. Cho'Gath still hasn't TP'd into the fray. They even lose Hylissang at the start of it, but then it's at this point, Exile is able to get onto Dreams, he's able to chase up Coscu, and one Mysterious Monkey's all split apart because of the delayed TP from Chachi. That's where the fight suddenly goes in their favor.
Yep. Well, you know, usually when you see a pick like a Talon, as Exile goes in once again onto Dreams, he'll be able to get the deletion off. Man, he's really trying to show up caps for that best assassin EU.
Blood for the Blood God, as Exile picks up another one. Now completed the Ghost Blade, even more mobility, loads of chasing, loads of lethality. Drell always said, Pyra, if you don't have that much armor, his stabs really hard.
Yeah. If you don't have armor, the stabs you through.
Exactly,
right? I'm glad we've established that.
Because you need it to stop the stabbing, right?
You know how I knew that,
Go, tell me.
I played a lot of Assassin's Creed.
I too played a lot of Assassin's Creed. And
so did Exile, apparently.
Looking to continue his assassinations.
All right, he gets a hop on. There's Amazing. The barrel comes out. It's just going to knock the bird away. And Exile is unstoppable at 19 minutes. The guy's got 5 kills.
5-0-1. You're starting to understand why Fnatic chose to ban this champion away from Exile. Certainly seems to be one of his comfort picks. Something he's having a lot of success with. And he's been able to build up a lot of his own leads, but also Mysterious Monkeys, they've just slowed down. You know, I'm very critical of this Renekton pick. I feel like Jarvan would have given them a lot more teamfight value later on into the game, but they do still have pretty good team fighting as the game progresses. Yuki scales very, very well on this Xayah. You have an Orianna in the mid lane who whose power spike will be delayed a little bit by going for something like a Rod of Ages and the Sonya's Hourglass.
Which he's halfway towards, or at least getting closer.
But it will get better later on. There's still a lot of power there, and if Exile dives into this fight and he gets CC'd by Kikis or Amazing, or he gets charmed up, he will be obliterated in an instant. So that's the still win condition there for Mysterious Monkeys.
Yeah, you know, we talked a lot about Exile, and he definitely has been the flashiest member of this team right now. But I feel like stepping into the shadows here is Samix, because he's been consistently throwing down damage, picking up assists. He's going for this crit Jhin build, and he's sitting on 2 items of it at the moment. It's not going to be too shabby, especially considering the Monkeys haven't been picking up as much armor as they should be.
Yeah, you're quite right. Samuel Fernandez, someone that if you ever speak
Don't forget the fort.
Yeah, if you ever speak to Roman, he's very passionate about his AD carry. And you're quite right. Often we don't talk about him, but that's because he's not really the guy that makes all the plays. He's not super flashy, as you correctly identified, and he doesn't need to, because you have Exile for that. He's more of the cleanup AD carry. He's that consistent guy that will deal the damage, and it is very impressive how he has developed so much as an AD carry. Whereas for Mysterious Monkeys so far, we're still seeing Yuki suffer a little bit. He fell behind very heavily once again in lane. Not quite that staple performer that we normally see. As the UOL squad once again group up in the middle lane and consider looking for another fight.
Well, I think that is always a safe prediction. Unicorns looking to fight it up the middle. And they said on the analyst desk that it may lose them their competitive edge because everybody's drafting these ARAM compositions. Well, the Unicorns, they did it without even appearing to do it, as Xerxes runs into 3 here. That's unfortunate for him. A little bit bad positioning. However, even with the big barrel and the flash out, he may still not get out of this one. Mysterious Monkeys, they do not want to quit on this, but how much are they willing to invest? That's quite a lot, it would appear. Even Yuki and Kozki were coming to the rescue, and now they will finally get that kill. But meanwhile, Exile splitting up top.
It took them so long to get the kill onto Xerxes because their only real damage was Kikis. Yeah, you had a lot of CC, but if there's not enough follow-up, then it won't result in anything. And this will give Exile the freedom to push up top lane. He's not going to commit to the tower. Instead, they're looking to try and force the fight.
They're looking to try and force it out. And Dreams Kozki, they're not going to be accepting this one. They'll back away for the time being. They know they can't afford to take a fight. They might lose and let the minions just keep on pushing in. But I want to go back to your bit about Samix too, because in the spring, he was one of the big Unicorn success points, still not one of the flashiest players. Playing this Jhin consistently and having big damage numbers on it, looking great as an AD carry. And honestly, it's all the more impressive considering, you know, you got to go back some years ago and remember that this guy was a top laner in the original iteration of the LCS for Giants. I mean, he's been around, but he role swapped. He was never considered to be one of these incredible top carries, but he has been slowly building a reputation.
And I'm going to stroke my ego a little bit here, Pyro, because I did say last split that I believed Samix to be one of the best performing AD carries. I gave him one of my MVP votes. I got a lot of hate for it, but I'm glad that he's stepping up to the occasion now as Yoel find the fight.
Let's see if he can do it. The floor starts things off, and now the tower is on the menu. The shockwave, it's not going to pull anyone in. The barrel knocks them all back, and in comes Kikis around the side, but he's stymied here as he tries to get a stun off onto Hillsang. He does it, but Chachi with a Feral Scream around and a Blade Storm, or a Feather Storm, I should say, as Kozki's going to get 1 kill. Yuki was looking for another, but he's forced to burn both flash and heal. The roots are on, and the Unicorns are scattered to the winds. Without their support, it looks like the Mysterious Monkeys might be able to find a fight. No AD carry, though. Yuki, he was zoned out of this one, and now the tables are turning once again. A 2-man rupture. In comes Xerxes, turning things around. Yuki's already back to base. And there is the curtain call. 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shots on the tree. The 4th, he's just out of range, but the rupture still hits, and they want to keep chasing. The spikes do it. Chachi with a kill.
But it's only a 1-for-1, Pyra, after that incredibly
exciting 1-for-1
extended fight. Mysterious Monkeys equalize the kill score, and as long as they can defend this tower, this is fine for them. They don't lose anything major. But Yoel, they have this tendency to take these risky plays. Samix has no mana. They're going to try and force the Baron.
It's 24 minutes on the clock right now. Amazing is down for another 15 seconds. Kikis has his teleport. It would have to be a fight because there is no smite. Let's see what the Monkeys can do. Kozki, he doesn't have his shockwave up. They need to buy some time, but the Unicorns are looking to fire down this. Instead, they turn their attention over to the fight. This is exactly what the Monkeys want, but they have to survive. No, the smite goes down. And now Unicorns, they wanted to turn it, but the Monkeys knew when to quit.
And Kikis, he didn't TP into the fight. There was no smite available for Mysterious Monkeys. And in the end, they make the play work. But let's go back to how this all started. This was a risky play, trying to go for the dive rather than just commit to the tower. And it's difficult to siege when you have a Jhin and a Talon, But I feel like at this point, they just need to be a little bit more patient. Instead, they're trying to make it happen. Number of members get out with their lives, but then they split up, and that's where Mysterious Monkeys collapse. They use a lot of flashes, they use a lot of their engage tools, and they even lock up Samus, but they cannot get the follow-up because of how tanky and how much utility Chachi does provide. At this point, Mysterious Monkeys, they need to disengage. We don't have time because we're back in the action.
Yeah, back to live right now with the Baron. Unicorns looking to push on tier 2 in the mid. Doesn't mean too much, though. Mysterious Monkeys have been able to push them back, but that gold deficit, it's not getting any smaller right now. 5,000 plus in favor of the Unicorns of Love. And Exile, he's back to his split-pushing ways. Doesn't have the best of wave clear, but he's able to rake through the rest of the minions. Gonna need Yuki and Kikis and Amazing here to just stop him. Meanwhile, the Unicorns fancy the fight. Hylissang jumps on in, throws a Winter's Bite. That's the end of it. They're just trying to run Mysterious Monkeys around this map. And man, that Cho'Gath is getting bigger and bigger by the minute.
Well, those stacks just keep on stacking. He's building himself a mighty house. And at this rate, he will become an unstoppable fort that will somehow steamroll through the rest of Mysterious Monkeys.
That was very prosy, Vedius.
Yep.
Yeah. Would you say he's a brick house?
As long as it's got wheels, that's all that matters. And tiny arms, in very classic dinosaur fashion.
Well, he's very mighty, that's for sure. 2 Righteous Glories, by the way, I should say. Xerxes has as well. So they are going to be running at Mysterious Monkeys very quickly.
Feeling very righteous they are this fine day.
Will it be glorious? That's the question.
That's the real question.
3 men on this dragon, so that is number 2 for the Mountains. It's been easy for Unicorns to take both of them this game. That means they can wreck through those towers even faster. It's looking really grim for Monkeys in game number 1. They want to try and turn this one around. That window is pretty shut. Maybe cracked just a little bit. I don't know what they'd have to do to keep it open, though.
Well, Mysterious Monkeys, the one thing you can always rely on for the Unicorns of Love is they will fight you. And while they aren't certainly good at fights, there is still the potential to turn a fight around in your favor. They just have to find that right one. If they can get onto Samus, maybe shut down Exile early on, they can swing things into their advantage, but a lot of poke now coming out from Samus as continue to rotate between mid and bot.
Okay, they're looking for Koski. Curtain calls open, Shadow Assault, and they just combo on top. He goes gold in the last shot. He's going to miss, but the barrel is not an Exile. Turns it right around, and a Shockwave pulls him back in time. He's rooted down. And let's see if they can take down Exile. In comes Dreams, but Koski has already fallen. They turn everything to him to get a shutdown. Mid laners traded. However, the Unicorns, they might be the ones who are caught out here. Samus is forced to flash away. No curtain call available to turn him. And now it looks like Chachi's going to get an nom onto Kikis. And Xerxes leading the charge. Amazing Dreams. Yuki all silence. All back to the safety or not of their turret. And Cho'Gath eats the Monkeys. Amazing is the last man standing here, and I think I've seen this horror movie before, Vedius. A double kill over to Samus.
Unicorns of Love demolish the Mysterious Monkeys. They have the Baron buff. They have a minion wave behind them, and they may very well look to end the game right now.
Easy peasy would be the way it goes, but instead they're going to respect those cooldowns. Everyone's coming back up, and they will settle for taking the fight and the inhibitor. And here is that again from the beginning.
This play itself is absolutely fine, right? What they want to do is force Koski back, maybe even get a kill. The setup is good. They've got the fourth shot as well, the ulti too. But Koski with a really good shockwave into an Orianna shield. Things look so good. He's almost able to defend himself, but he ends up dropping. So now you trade mid laner for mid laner. And keep your eyes on Kikis as well. Watch how he flashes onto Samus. Instant root, but no follow-up. And once Chachi joins the fray, it's this fort that you just cannot get behind. He's just standing in the way, making things impossible for the rest of Mysterious Monkeys to get onto the carries, and then Chachi effectively becomes the carries as he chows his way down through the Monkeys.
Yep, now Yuki and Dreams on a hasty retreat right now. Tier 2 up in the top side is only at half its health, and Unicorns, they keep on steamrolling this gold lead ahead. They've got 4 members here, and Samus is bringing up the rear. Instead, they let the minions get taken down. And actually, Kikis is going to be pushing on the bottom side. Monkeys only have 1 tower, so that's why that bottom is still standing. But Chachi, he wants to turn this around. A Rupture separates them up for the time being. Amazing, he throws the Nature's Grasp, but Xerxes is in the backline. Featherstorm comes up, and it's going to be a lot of blades. Exile coming to join this party right now. However, the Shockwave stops
down.
Second, Exile's down, but Samus had the curtain call. Do they have the damage? The Monkeys sensing weakness in the chaos. Xerxes, he's going down as well. And now Koski lead the charge. He had Shockwave already used that one. And Chachi's in the front. Does he have the sustain? Amazing gets the root down onto Samus, and he able to Bramble smash him down. Koski's gonna fall as well. This is a bloody brawl. And I don't know who's going to win this one. There are only 2 Unicorns left. Make that one, but it's Chachi.
And it's so conventional for the Unicorns of Love to do this. Chachi, he's still alive. He's still just bimbling around,
never gonna
trying
kill
to get
this
the
guy.
kill. I don't think anyone can kill anyone, Pirate.
I think Chachi can kill everyone, but I'm wondering how far he goes. Let's watch, shall we?
He's still
Rupture?
going.
Ah, dodged. In the end, the
Outplay.
tower defeats him.
So, Unicorns of Love, I think the play itself was fine. I think the way in which they try to force that fight, they know they have a lead, they can definitely win it. But time and time again, you see these execution errors from the Unicorns of Love, where they just overcommit for the kills. They try too hard to make a play that they've started succeed. And you can see here, the flash, the knockup misses from Chachi. The root doesn't land. The knockback comes through, but there's no real fall. At this point, you disengage. But no, they go underneath the tower. They feel confident enough they can get the kills. Exile ends up getting shut down by a great shockwave from CosQ. The flank comes in from Kikis onto Samix as well. Xerxes still underneath the tower. And this is the late game fights we were talking about, Pyra. You know that the Unicorns will fight you. They're not interested in playing the slow macro game. They won't move from lane to lane. They will always try and get leads through kills. They will try and get objectives through kills. And that means that there's always this opportunity for the Mysterious Monkeys to find an avenue back in, because their team comp still does really well in team fights. So when they overcommit that hard, you can find these windows to turn it against them.
Yep. Now, the real mission for the Monkeys will be to take down the giant Void Monster if they can finish the fights like that. Honestly, the big difference between those early fights and the ones we're seeing now, though, I feel has been CosQ and his placement of the Shockwave. Yes, it wouldn't do nearly as much damage before, but when he's on 3 items and you can get it in the right place at the right time, that is a game changer. Now we'll see if he can bring it to bear here. Amazing.
Very, very risky play. Amazing. He's got the ulti.
I mean, that's a double Mountain Drake Unicorns. They should be able to secure this one up, and they're going to get the smite down, but now can they win the fight afterwards? Exile's going to get charmed up, knocked up. Shockwave pulls him in. It's just one, though. Do they have the damage? No. Exile finally will go down. It's CosQ that gets the kill credit. Meanwhile, Kikis is causing havoc in the back, and he flashes out as they were buying time. It's Chachi and Xerxes, and that is a 3-man silence. Nothing that the Birds can do right now, as Chachi on the front line might just be the difference maker. Samuel Fernandez for taken down. Amazing. And it looks like the dreams of the Monkeys are starting to fade here, as Dreams himself, his health bar was nearly taken down to 0. CosQ trying to dodge, but you can't dodge them all, and the Unicorns take the fight.
So much is happening in these fights, but it does look like that the Unicorns of Love, they still are able to win out. They will be able to get the superior number of kills. They walk away with the Baron, and now they are running it down mid. They have some minions available to them. Samux and Vizichachi looking poised to take that Nexus.
And the worst time for a pause. Oh, man.
Oh, allows us to catch our breath, though, Pyra.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I've been going a little crazy in this one. But that is the Unicorn plan. Get the fight, run it down mid. All according to plan?
So, I'm sure we'll get a replay of the actual Baron fight, but basically, while it is risky, you have Cho'Gath. So you have the ultimate available to just nom it down. You've also, you know when you're going to get that guaranteed crit from Samux too. So there's like a lot of burst damage from the Unicorns of Love, and one of two things happens. They either rush down the Baron and they get it, or they force a fight that goes in their favor because they know that they're strong enough. So I think that while there's always an element of risk doing it, I think overall it was a fine play. It just very much came down to whether or not they were able to execute, and this time around they were. But again, Exile, he goes to this flank, and he gets shut down very quickly. Mysterious Monkeys, they look like they were ready for it. But they use all their damage on trying to kill Exile. Then they have nothing left for all these tanks that are just slowly chasing them down. And Renekton, he doesn't have the same sort of kill threat as a Cho'Gath does. And so while he's sitting on top of Samux, Samux is actually kiting and fine, and he almost actually gets the kill onto Kikis. Whereas Chachi, he tanks up like 3, maybe even 4 members, and he's just like, and eventually he's able to almost kill Yuki.
Yeah, specifically that sound effect.
That was, yeah, that was
a theatrical interpretation.
I'm a Cho main, as you can tell.
Well, I'm glad to know that. Now, just to update you guys on what is going on, there's a mouse issue relating to Yuki. So while League officials are on stage trying to get that one resolved, I'm told we'll be jumping back into the previous fight and seeing the action unfold once more. And yeah, that definitely needs a second breakdown, I feel.
Yeah, so here we are. Now, what you'll notice is here, Chachi, using his CC to just keep people away. He has the nom-nom, you have the crit, you have everything, so they make the play work, but then a great collapse onto Exile, shuts him down very quickly. He doesn't get the same kind of burst. And just keep your eyes on Kikis versus Chachi, right? Because Kikis, he has to flash away because he doesn't have the power to kill Samux. Whereas Chachi's literally tanking up 3 people, being like, I take no damage. I'm not afraid of anything. I have all this bonus health. I have all these bonus stats. And I'm just buying time for my backline to eventually kill whoever's in their way, and then I will eventually win the fight. So you're just seeing the difference in late game teamfight power between a Renekton and the Cho'Gath. And this is why I just come back and I criticize the Renekton pick. I wonder if it was best. I feel like that he picked it full lane, and even then, he wasn't really able to do very much with it during the laning phase.
Yeah, perhaps the Monkeys needed to go something a little more scale-centric. I mean, the build in the Orianna was that way. The dual laners worked that way. The Maokai worked that way. The Renekton definitely seemed to be a little bit out there, and that's something the Monkeys will have to think about going into Game 2. Now, they're at death's door here for Game 1 because the Unicorns are inside of their base, but of course, in the pause moment, people coming off a cooldown, maybe we'll see one last desperate fight.
Well, we may very well do. In order to do that, Yuki will need a mouse. So I've just been informed that his mouse will be swapped out. They're going to confirm the settings, and then they can go for that final fight.
He can dodge skill shots.
Yes.
I've been told when he has a mouse.
A necessity from personal experience. But things definitely looking bleak for the Mysterious Monkeys in Game 1. While the Unicorns of Love have certainly taken a few risks this game, I feel like for a lot of the time we've still seen them stick to their style, which I think is the big thing. We haven't really seen much of a shift from what we saw from Rift Rivals. I still think that we're seeing the same kind of Unicorns of Love. And while certainly Exile seems to be having better performances when he's allowed to play things like the Talon, I think it's definitely a big comfort pick for him. You just have to wonder, right, is it concerning that Unicorns of Love haven't really changed anything about their style, or is it fine, right? Or are they just getting better at perfecting? Because I feel like they are playing a lot of these fights very well. But still, is this something that can be punished by some of the other stronger teams?
Yeah, I think that is a really big question because it's hard to take things away from, a bout with the team that's at the bottom of those standings. And when you compare how the other teams are fighting it out right now, you'd think that they might be able to shut this style down a little more effectively. Everyone was clearly watching that Fnatic tape and seeing if maybe they will just respect the Exile talent in the future. Maybe not. Maybe they'll find a way to play around it. But it is concerning because the other two teams came out of Rift Rivals looking stronger. The Unicorns are the ones that didn't.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. So still 2 weeks left following this one of regular season play, and then we'll be jumping into playoffs. And as we talked about earlier on, the stakes of this game are very much that...
Is that the new mouse?
Looks like it.
It looks pretty shiny.
Oh, no, that's the old mouse.
I looked a little used.
I would argue that it's a little shinier, though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess old and new is relative if you've been using it this game or not.
TLDR, guys.
That one could be older, technically.
You're having a visual of how to install a new mouse. Step 1, unplug. Step 2, plug in.
Step 3, test it out.
Yeah, move it around.
Thank you for the demonstration, Yuki. I think he likes the other one.
He's looking at the other one, like judging it, being like, you let me down. For so long, I trusted you. And now you are gone.
Feels bad, man.
Yep.
You can't click. Betrayal. Replaced in the blink of an eye. So Yuki is cold-blooded there.
Yeah, they're just confirming the settings now, and then we'll be jumping right back into the action. Just to give you a bit of a reminder, Yuki's alive, Dreams is alive, Kikis is alive, but Hylissang is stopping the backs of both Kikis and Dreams, and there's only really Yuki left to defend up against a full health Vizichachi, a full health Samux, a level 16 Samux, might I add. There are 2 Nexus turrets standing in their way, and I believe they have the Baron buff as well. So it's definitely going to be quite the feat for Yuki to be able to defend. But they're going to try as we jump back into game.
If there's ever a chance, well, now is the one. So we're getting back into game, and it's going to be a photo finish or a hectic one at the very least. Down goes one Nexus turret, and down goes Yuki. Well, there's your answer. Om nom nom. Goodbye, Dreams. Now we sleep. The Unicorns of Love finish off the last Nexus turret, take down the Nexus, not the back of a real big Cho'Gath, and the rest of the Unicorns of Love. No, the inhibitor respawned! Oh, we got trolled!
Hopes are still alive for the Mysterious Monkeys. Unicorns of Love, they can't end the game yet. Are they going to run away? No, they're going for the finish, Pyra.
So many false finishes. All right, just hit the Nexus. It's all you got to do. But no, they want to take the fight into Coscu. He goes golden, buys some more time. Gets knocked in, buff. The shockwave is not enough, but he does get a kill. And it's not going to matter. GG, well played. The Unicorns of Love going 1-0 up in the series.
Looks like the mouse did not help Yuki in the end. Still ends up getting obliterated by Vizicachi. And it will be a Game 1 victory going over to the Unicorns of Love. Classic Unicorn style. They find fights. A few of them looked a little bit risky. Some of them could have gone horribly wrong. Mysterious Monkeys did find a few avenues back into the game, but they could not hold onto the leads. And I feel like a Talon ban is next on the list for Game 2, Pyron.
I think that would make a whole lot of sense, Vedius, and the Talon certainly was a big part of it, but lest we forget that Cho'Gath had 12 stacks by the end of it, so he was already capped out on how big he was going to get. Chachi in his hands, there was not enough pressure up top early on to stop him. The Monkeys will have to go back to the drawing board. And it is always the Unicorns when it's just a strange finish for one reason or another. This time there was a pause, there was some weird stuff going on, but come on, it's always the Unicorns.
Yep.
I don't know why,
You
but
know,
it's
they were always going to
the
give you an exciting game,
Yeah.
that's for sure. And we did, in fact, get a lot of fights. Overall, 31 kills in that game.
in 33 minutes.
In 33 minutes. Not quite a kill a minute.
This is what I expected, though, from patch 7.14. I thought maybe things were going to settle down and people were going to take the much more conservative route. But no, the Unicorns said, not today. You wanted ARAM, we'll give you ARAM.
Yeah, and you can see right now, Unlimited trying to boost the morale of his team. There's still the possibility that they can come back. But for now, Unicorns of Love lead the series.
Unicorns of Love, they took down Mysterious Monkeys in Game 1. So let's send it over to Dracos and the boys. Thoughts on their win?
I'm Dracos. These are the boys. My thoughts, I love Unicorns of Love and the compositions they build because to me it's like, hey, here's everything that's horrible to play against in solo queue right now. Duskblade, Cho'Gath.
No Kane mid lane.
That's true, but that was banned. I mean, to be fair, I don't know if they would have picked it, but I like that Mysterious Monkeys kind of proactively banned it away.
I agree with the Kane ban. I don't like giving Exile Talon. Not that Talon is like the greatest champion in the game, but it's the one pick right now that he's actually finding a lot of success on. I think you just take that away and you kind of challenge him, you know, again on finding some of these other picks right now.
Especially when you then pick Orianna, first pick of second rotation. You basically like give him a matchup that he can play it into, and then UOL, we kind of thought maybe it was going to be the Cho'Gath jungle, maybe with a Rumble in the top lane, but they flexed it up. They've got magic damage top lane, which compensates for the AD mid laner, and you can see how Exile has this massive impact in team fights.
Yeah, and I like when Unicorns in that second phase, they banned away the Gnar so they could put Cho'Gath top lane, because it actually meant that, in my opinion, Mysterious Monkeys had no answers for Cho'Gath in the early game or in the late game. What we see a lot of teams do against Cho'Gath, especially top lane Cho'Gath, is like you gank him early game, you camp him, you try and shut him down, but it was a Maokai jungle on the side of Mysterious Monkeys, not exactly the best at just completely annihilating lanes, unless you have a lot of damage in that lane already. And then also late game, like, there's no HP damage coming in. It's Orianna, it's the Xayah, so they couldn't really deal with Cho'Gath at any point in the game.
And that early game was so influential. The fact that Amazing had to use this flash level 1, like they invade him in the jungle and just one Braum Q makes him flash. Suddenly that top lane gank, they don't get the kill. Chachi just walks away in the early game. And as you said, like if you can't take him out in the early game and your composition doesn't have anything to deal with him in the later game, you are not dealing with that Cho'Gath at all.
And I think we have to praise Vizicachi. The Cho'Gath was pretty much on point in a lot of these fights, and whether or not you can say that Mysterious Monkeys needed to dodge some of these ruptures, Vizicachi definitely hit the vast majority of them in the early to mid game fights, which continuously set up the team for success. And on top of that, the Talon snowballing in the mid lane. This is it's a good look for Unicorns.
Yeah, that is a very good look for them. Was very much the standard Unicorns of Love game where it was just team fighting around the mid lane as often as possible. I think they could have played more to the side lane with the Talon, who was extremely fed with like full lethality. No one was going to stop him. But they opted into pure team fighting, which actually gave Mysterious Monkeys a few ways back in the game. But that's why I think the Cho'Gath just came in and made it almost impossible. And also the fact that Chachi is so good at taking all the damage he can possibly take, step out at the correct moment, you know, get some HP back either by going back to Fountain and then TPing right back in, or at least letting the next guy kind of go forward from Unicorns. Like, great team fighting from him.
Chachi's opposite number, Kikis in the top lane for Mysterious Monkeys. You mentioned some of the windows from the team fights. Kikis made a couple, flashing onto Samux in 2 fights back-to-back in the late game, taking him out, and that reduced some of the damage. But you saw the impact of this infinitely scaling Cho'Gath doing max % health damage with the E just walking through fights 1 versus 3, and Mysterious Monkeys are running away. And that really is the danger, is despite the fact that Kikis is making these individual plays, it's not enough for Mysterious Monkeys as a whole.
Too far down, I feel like, simply because the Talon got so many early kills as well, that's kind of the crazy thing, because like Mysterious Monkeys are in a lot of trouble when they can't shut down Cho'Gath, and they can't shut down Talon. Both of them kind of snowball out of control.
Yeah, and
which means Unicorns can win team fights.
Exactly. And we look at this mid-game team fight that we're going to bring up. It's not like this was, the greatest call of all time for Unicorns to love, but they did know that they had that massive lead. They knew that they could punish just about anybody, and they do put it to good effect.
Yeah, this they go on to CosQ, didn't quite get the Zhonya's off immediately, but buys enough time for him to survive through. And look, Exile has dove behind the tower. This is the second or third time that Unicorns would do this type of play within the game. And watch for Kikis. Vedius highlighted how he gets onto Samux, and this was the first time really where Samux is now on the back line, trying to just run as far away from the fight. But Chachi, so strong. Look at how tanky he is. This health after he pops that Gargoyle Stone Plate, the ruptures connecting every single time. He's in no threat.
We had so many team fights looking like this one, where it was extremely back and forth, like a few kills in favor of Unicorns in the next fight, a few kills in favor of Mysterious Monkeys, and that was my only concern or criticism with this game, was that a team who actually got the early game advantage with a Cho'Gath and Talon, in my opinion, should be able to fairly cleanly actually take over the game, because there's no answer for the Cho'Gath, and there's also no answer for the Talon in a side lane. But instead, it became just team fight.
That's
true, but they did find the win, and they're definitely
That's
proven
disgusting.
by the KDA.
And the damage per minute, that is disgusting.
Look, the Cho'Gath,
damage.
they couldn't
I
kill
will
the
not take
Cho'Gath.
anything away from Vizichachi's Cho'Gath performance at all, but the fact that Mysterious Monkeys actually found some fights that could have made them, or potentially put them back in the game, I don't think that should have happened with how fed Talon and Cho'Gath were in this game.
And while I agree, I just want to point out that I remember, I think it was Origin Power of Evil, Varus 1200 damage per minute was, I think, the highest damage per minute we had ever seen for any individual player. I'm sure it's been surpassed since then, but 1,000 damage per minute for a full tank, the Cho'Gath, is insane to me. I feel like people have to ban this champion away.
I mean, they gave it as a first pick. I don't think they got a whole lot in return, sadly, for the Monkeys, because they picked the Maokai, which was fine. But then they picked Rakan, and Braum was there as a counter pick for Hylissang. So it's kind of like they didn't get enough value to give away the Cho'Gath in good faith and say, yes, this was great, we trade him for 2 OPs, because they didn't actually get 2 OPs in return.
All right, well, definitely the case. We're going to take a short break, but when we return, the players will return to the Rift for Game 2.